you ready for a little Southern humor mixed with relevant topics we can all relate to? We're about to pull back the curtains and mix it up. Scoot your chair up. It's time to talk about all the things and ask all the questions. Welcome to Get It Together, y'all.
Hi, everybody. We're so glad that you joined us today. My name is Cindy Larson, and I am the host of Get It Together, y'all. And my co-host is
April Potter.
April Potter. I know you guys are enjoying all of our variety of shows, and we're super excited that you've joined us today because I am really over the moon that we have this guest, and so excited to have Joanna Mack from Hopkinsville, Kentucky, and she is going to be so fascinating for you guys to get to know because she and I are we're sisses. We are absolutely joined. We have stories that connect us back that. It's a lot. I don't know if an hour program does that justice because we have connections through family. We have connections through an outreach called Trace Diaz. And then my daughter, Rachel, she spent some time, act like that's a, sentence. But she spent some time in Joanna's house in Hopkinsville, Kentucky called Grace and Mercy. And we're going to get into all of that. And I can't wait to give you guys some information and just let you know this amazing woman. Then on the other side over here is my sidekick and favorite nephew, Elijah. Is that okay? That's it.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's fair.
Yeah, it's fair.
I think it's a fact. We might as well just go ahead and speak facts around here out here in these streets.
Sorry, Colin and Benjamin and David, and I have other nephews. Oh man. Okay, so I can get into a lot of trouble.
Favorite nephew in the state of Tennessee.
In my podcast.
Yeah. Okay, we'll go with that.
Anyway, we in getting this podcast together, April and I did a lot of brainstorming, and we have an eclectic taste, don't we?
I think we do, for sure.
We're eclectic girls, and we wanted to cover different topics. So we like having fun.
Yes.
With everything, but we like having. Sometimes we have shows that are kitchen table talk, and we talk about fun things that have to do with the kitchen and canning and all that kind of stuff. And then sometimes we do shows that are just different topics like Circle of Trust. This one is going to be Glass House. So today I brought my little prop, and we're gonna put a topic in the glass house, and we're going to look at it from all different angles, and we're just going to address it in a very honest way. And you don't know what the topic is going to be, but I'm going to ask for just your feedback, and I'm excited about it. So, Joanna, how was your drive in from Hopkinsville?
Well, it was very trying. There was a traffic jam, and that lasted from Clarksville to about exit 24.
Man.
So that was a bit trying, but I love the speed car racing. After it all, everything's released and we can just go.
I heard that a truck turned over.
Yeah, well, it was practically gone by the time I went past it, but all the police were still there.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it might have just been a parade of Dunkin' Donuts. Like the police. I mean, we have no real evidence. What you're saying
we have no way to know to verify.
Just the flashing lights. I'm telling you.
And that could be anything. I live in downtown Nashville, and sometimes we hear the biggest ruckus, and we look on the news like, oh, that must be something, and it's like, nope, nothing to see here. So I just think it's sometimes. I don't know. It's a big nothing burger.
A little smoke and mirrors.
A little smoke and mirrors. I'm not smoking no mirrors, but but some people might. Anyway, I am I'm just glad that you're here safe. We had we had a guest not come on one of our podcasts, and we were wringing our hands like, do we start without her, and is she alive, and all these things, and come to find out, I just booked her on the wrong night.
That happens.
So
User
the
error.
wah, wah.
User error there.
Yeah, man, I'm so sorry. So that's why, sometimes people think, yeah, Cindy, I'm coming. I'm just double checking me.
Yeah.
I'm just double checking. I have the
You have
ability.
so many ideas. It's hard to keep track of all of them.
You know what? It is. It is a hard. You don't try.
Yeah,
because,
I don't.
No.
I don't.
No.
I keep pace of what's in front of me. That's all.
Yeah. Well, that's good. Joanna has, the first time I met Joe, we were in, and some of you may be familiar with a ministry called Tres Dias. And if you don't know about that, wherever you are, you can look up in your community and see if there's something called Tres Dias. It's Spanish for 3 days, right?
Yep.
Yes.
And look
She
that
looked
up.
at me for confirmation.
Yeah. like you would know.
Like I speak Spanish.
Yeah, you're brown.
I'm brown. I can cover that language. Yeah, I don't speak Spanish for the record.
No, don't speak Spanish. But anyway, Joe, you do you speak more than one language? Speaking of that,
I do. I speak my mother's tongue, which is Samoan.
what?
My mother is from Western Samoa and my father is from Scotland,
Wow.
Cumberland, Scotland. So Mum spoke it, in our early days, and I can understand it real well. I can't speak it very well anymore, but
Yeah.
when I'm with family, I
You
just
have
go,
to
yeah,
keep it up a little.
absolutely.
So that's one of our, we have some, icebreakers. And April and I are from the South, so we have a Southern mother moment. So we like to talk about our Southern mothers. But your mother was from the western part of.
When I introduce myself to many people, I'm actually from the true South. So
The
I'm
real
the
South.
down under.
yes.
Down
I'm in the
under.
southern hemisphere. You guys are in the northern
Yeah,
hemisphere.
we're faking it.
We are below the
Legit.
equator.
Okay.
So, and our country is the last country to the South Pole. So
Wow.
you've got to stop in New Zealand before you go to the South Pole. So
Hey,
I am.
respect.
This
Respect.
is how we speak in
Yeah,
the South.
So she said, check it, because you're not Southern.
You're really
I
not Southern
am.
at all.
So your mother is
Crikey.
the most Southern.
Yes.
So
True
tell
Southern.
us something that your mother would say, or that your mother would do, that you live by today.
My mom, she was a very straightforward person.
Yeah.
And I believe that I'm very much like her. If you ask a lot of people about her, they were quite afraid of her because she was quite stern, and we didn't see it that way.
Yeah.
But I think even as I deal with women today, and I go into jails and prisons and different places, they see that. And I don't see it as being stern. I just see it as just having the power of the Holy Spirit and the authority that the Holy Spirit gives you to go into these places.
I have seen you walk into a jail, and I mean the men, and I mean people just part. You absolutely are commanding of a room, and it's amazing. I love to just be your plus one, and I've never been to court with you, but I would love to go into court with. I know we're jumping into like some of the stuff I want to talk about in the meat of this, but court is. How often do you go to court and fight for these women to come into your program?
I'm in court probably weekly, but you've really got to study court first, and that's how I got acclimated to going to court.
Okay.
What do you mean by study court? Do you mean the plaintiffs, or
Like who is
the
who?
scenarios
You
of
know,
exactly
who
what they've
sits where?
committed? Yeah.
Who sits where, who's helping the judge, who is this person,
Right.
who is the clerk, who is the prosecuting attorney, who's the attorney that's prosecuting my woman.
Right.
So you're not talking about just watch a lot of people's court.
No.
You're talking
No,
about
you have
actually
to investigate
your-
the actual situation that's
Correct.
at hand
Yeah.
in terms of like the
And who are
crime-
the public
crime
defenders?
accused. Yeah.
Who are the public defenders? Who's going to represent my woman?
Right.
So, you put all of that together and you know the history of some of these public defenders. You've watched them, you've heard them, you know how they speak, and if they don't speak at all.
Know if a certain judge has your case, how it's going to go.
Oh, yes, absolutely. Absolutely. And I'm always in circuit court, which is upstairs. So, you have to.
And I imagine that a lot of your plaintiffs they probably get a positive thumbs up just from the judge knowing that you're in their corner a lot of the times. Some
of the times, you just have to be quiet and listen and move when
Purposely.
When the Holy Spirit opens the way, you go through and you do it quickly, or else the door will close and she's gone out the side and she's gone back into jail.
Okay.
So you've got to kind of know how to move and how to, what I say, shuck and jive.
Okay.
Because, I'm waiting for the opportunity.
So do you wait till they call you and bring you into the order of the proceedings, or
Sometimes.
do you like stand up and interrupt them?
Sometimes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Woo! Love it.
Yes.
Oh my gosh, that's so exciting.
Yeah.
When I was a teenager, we used to go downtown to night court. And I was a preacher's kid, so we didn't go and hang out at the
super edgy.
bars. We
Night
didn't go to the
court
bars.
was
So night
getting
court,
rowdy.
man, we would sit in the back and watch people, that got brought in, and that was fun.
I didn't know there was a night court.
Oh, there might not even be now.
Your entertainment was watching people go to jail for their
Yes,
consequences
yes. I wanted
because you
this-
didn't get real TV.
No, and I didn't get in trouble. So I needed, that was my closest,
Wow.
So my girlfriends and I got like, y'all want to go to night court?
It's hilarious.
And we'd go, get down. Yeah, we'd carpool and go down to night
You
court.
would carpool.
Yes, we would. It was great entertainment, right, Sonia?
God.
Sonia, I won't name
Well, yeah, don't
Sonia,
let
Jackie. We
He's
had
to send it.
I'll tell you, I got receipts. So anyway, I didn't start the timer. I usually start the timer. I don't know, producer, you're gonna have to tell me, when we get to be time. Yeah, I got a producer over there because I just kind of lost my mind. I didn't start my timer, so I don't even know I'm starting it now. It means nothing to no one. Like at what time I started my timer to know when our hour was up. I don't know how
We've
long
been
we're just
going
gonna
about
figure-
10 minutes.
We're gonna figure it out.
I just
You keep me.
She's all over it.
See,
That's why
This is
you know
why-
what, April?
thank you, April.
I'm so glad somebody's structured in this group because it's not
I'm
me.
unhinged tonight.
It's not me for sure.
It's not you.
Yeah, it's not
So
me.
what would your so is there a saying or a dish that your mama would cook or something that you just like every time you do it you do a nod to your mama?
I haven't. They don't make the same food here that I can have
No kidding.
down there. So when I get home, because I'm planning a trip home probably in the next 6 months.
Take me with you.
Yeah. I want white snapper fish head in white sauce.
Oh.
wow.
And if you ever get served a head of a fish from all of my friends, that means that it's a real delicacy.
Wow.
And please take, if you don't know how to eat a fish head, just take a bit of the meat that's on the side,
Yeah.
and then that would be considered as
Yeah, I'd be lost if somebody dropped a
respectful.
fish head on my on my plate. I wouldn't know what to do
You'd
with
have
it.
to be schooled ahead of
You'd
time.
have to be
You-
schooled.
Yeah, somebody would have to teach me because I'd be lost.
Yeah.
I'll be schooling my children before they go down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because you don't want to offend.
No.
I've been in those situations before. Oh my gosh, how exciting for you to go home. Okay,
Oh, yeah.
so do you have a Southern Mother moment? We do a lot.
Actually, I do
You
today.
Do? All right.
Yeah, I was thinking about this. So mine was, my sister was 5.5 years younger than I was. And so I was the one that I would always try. She would test mom, over and over. And I'm like, Misty, come on, don't do that. You're going to get us in trouble. You're going to get us, we're going to have to do something. So our punishment, instead of getting, a spanking or a timeout or whatever, was she would make us go pull weeds for 2 hours outside together. So we had to be together. We had to pull weeds. And then we had to hug next. And my sister would just lose her mind because I was like so lovey and I wanted to hug her and she did not at all. That was the ultimate like punishment for her if she had
pull
to.
heads and hug weeds. That's what I want to know. Can I pull her head and hug the weeds? I heard of tree huggers,
Bro,
but I'd be a
I'm gonna
weed
be
hugger.
honest. My mom used to do that same thing to me and my
Yeah.
little brother.
Yeah.
Okay, and we weren't the most lovey-dovey like brother relationship growing up.
Yeah.
And
Cain and Abel,
I'm gonna be
basically.
honest. Whenever she made me want to do this was the closest I was ever to hurting this kid in my whole life. I could not stand when they would force. Well, I don't do well with like forced like combating
Yeah.
with people anyway.
Yeah.
Like I need to like make my decision to like interact with you.
Yeah.
So when you force me to do this and like force my affection, like I feel violated.
Yeah.
Like genuinely violated. And that's like how that felt.
Yeah.
I could not stand that. That
As
was one of my least favorite.
society, we don't force kids to kiss their grandmothers and all that stuff like we used to. I watch old black and white movies sometimes, and at Christmas time we were watching the Christmas Story, and the little kid, the mom was going, "Kiss your grandma, kiss your," and I'm like going, "That's a society thing we've stopped." I'm really glad.
I'll go kiss my
Yeah,
grandmother
kiss
right
my
now.
grandmother, right?
Are you kidding me? I'll go kiss her right now.
Oh, you-
I love my. Are you kidding me?
I know, but as a kid, there's like nothing, more.
I think it's worse to kiss your brother.
Well, that's true. That's probably true. I didn't have a brother, but I probably would have.
It was a hug and kiss scenario in my situation, so I'm just letting you know.
Okay.
I'd much rather kiss my grandmother.
So we're going to switch gears, and we got
Fun
another
facts.
fun. Yeah, we got fun facts. So, Joanna, here's the deal on this podcast. We like to have fun, so we might get to some deep and really thick things that we get into some meat and cut some stuff. But man,
Then we
can have some
might have to
fun.
repent sometimes afterwards.
Then sometimes we don't ever get serious. So thank you very much. Today I've got. Does anybody have fun facts?
I'm lost.
I do.
You have.
I got one.
I got some. Do you have anything?
You start and let
Okay.
me just get a gist of
you
the
can
word.
just
Let me-
comment on
gonna
our
think
fun
that
facts.
you-
So
Yes,
let me feel the
that's
gauge of what we got going on here. Let me fill
See
this
where
out.
this is going.
How deep we're getting.
Yeah, go ahead.
So mine is, did you know that pilots and co-pilots cannot eat the same meal before a flight, just in case of food
Food
poisoning
poisoning.
or worse,
What?
in case if somebody poisons them on purpose?
Wow.
I was like,
Wow.
I mean,
I
it makes
did not
sense.
know
It's
that.
logical.
Makes sense. Well, I know couples that the husband and wife won't fly on the same flight.
Yeah.
When we were
That's excessive.
yeah, when my kids were little, we would get a newspaper. It's when you got newspapers, and we would hold it up and record ourselves, my husband and I, and we would say, "Today is," and this was proof, right?
We found one.
Oh my gosh! And if something happened to us, and you're watching this, we love you so much, and all this stuff. And our kids hated it.
Yeah, we found them.
I
Yeah.
don't know why
traumatic.
we felt.
Yeah, not really. It was just weird. It was, we didn't really
weird.
understand it. Like,
Yeah.
as kids, it didn't make sense. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like, because adults, obviously, you're preparing for
Yeah.
but like as kids, you're like, guys, y'all are just going on a trip. You do this
Yeah.
like
You'll
every
be
month.
fine.
Like, what are we doing?
Speaking of this airplane situation, does anybody know the color of the black box that's in a plane? It is orange. A black box is orange.
Wait, let's run this back. How'd you start this statement?
I don't know.
Let's
Let
run
me
it.
start over again.
Yeah.
Planes have what's called a black box, and if they ever go down,
What is the function of said black box?
it has all the data.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what they look for. If there's like a plane crash, they have to find the black box so that it has all the data to get the last.
But the black box is orange.
It's orange.
I love
I'm
it.
guessing it's
Wow.
orange though, so it's noticeable, right?
Well, probably.
So they can find it.
In the wreckage. Yeah.
Yeah. Maybe.
Why'd they call it a black box?
Yeah, that's
an orange
because
box.
orange box.
I don't get
It just
it. It's
sounds
just
like
a-
it's delicious.
Does it?
I want an orange box. Bring me one. I'm thirsty right now. I need an orange box.
Black box
bad.
sounds like a drug.
Okay, so here's my I got this is
We're getting in trouble. I can already tell. The wheels are about to come
So
off soon.
My
I'm
fun
like
facts-
apprehensive here.
My
Yes.
fun facts.
You should be.
My fun facts are kind of a string of states and weird laws that exist in them. Okay, y'all ready? So I'm going to do this alphabetical. So in Alabama, it's illegal to drive while being blindfolded. Now, what lawmaker could not parent? Could not just deal with that at home. They had to make that a
Did you
law.
know? This is you bringing that up. A fun fact: it's illegal to do a drive-by on a deer in the state of Tennessee.
I need to hang on. Where's my pen? I'm gonna write that one down.
You can't shoot a deer outside your window.
Stop.
You can't. It's
I'm
illegal.
writing that down.
Even on your own property?
You can't. If you're in your
If
car
you're
and
in
you're
your car.
driving,
Oh,
you
you're in your
cannot
car.
do a
Yeah,
drive-by
All
on a
right.
deer.
We're on a roll. We're on a roll. In Arkansas, it's illegal to honk your horn outside a sandwich shop after 9 p.m.
Dude, I'm going straight to Jersey Mike's in Arkansas.
Okay, but the problem is, the fine print is, in Arkansas, very few sandwich shops are open past 9 p.m.
what's the
I know.
Imagine, think about this. Honestly, how much time is wasted in our government?
This is
For
Why?
this
Isn't
I
everything
just wanna
fried in
ask
Arkansas
why.
anyway?
Like, there's not better things our government could be doing than letting people know that you're not allowed to honk your horn outside of a sandwich shop.
Why?
At
I
9
mean, my
p.m.?
question is why?
I don't know. This is where
Noise pollution.
this is where people can't just deal with things. They have to make laws about it.
It's
Okay, here's another one. In Arizona, it's illegal for a donkey to sleep in a bathtub. If you've got a donkey, he
Who's
can't
out here
sleep-
being?
See,
This is
I
Who's
didn't,
checking on
I
this?
thought-
I didn't make this up.
this is supposed to be an equal opportunity world out
is
here
it
in
a
these streets.
commune
Okay.
or something?
Listen. In Colorado, you can't keep your couch on the front porch.
That should not be allowed anywhere outside of a trailer park anyway.
You know what? Don't get above your raisin. What did we bougie in Colorado? We can't.
I'm just
be-
saying, like a couch on your porch. Let's like have some civilization here going on. Like, what are
on.
we doing?
Sometimes you just gotta couch it right out
Just
there.
right out in the porch. You know
on the
what?
porch. Like, you
I've slept on worse. You're right.
Just judgy. You're just judgy.
I've slept on worse.
I think when I drive by a house and see a couch on the front porch, I just think, that's a parent that just wants to lock their door and say, you know what, you're
You
sleeping
guys
out
stay
here.
in the house.
You're sleeping out there tonight. Like, I don't know.
There are so
It
many
just-
stories with a couch on the front porch.
There's probably a lot going on there.
Okay, listen to this one. In Delaware, you can't sell dog hair.
And you can. Who
would-
sells it?
That's messing up my whole enterprise. I was about to branch out to Delaware next
Delaware
quarter,
and just
and that's
hair.
messing me up, dude.
Just shave
I had
and
a
sell.
whole
I've been to Delaware. I, think
I had
that
a whole
must be a
organization
reason.
set to branch in Delaware next quarter.
Okay, listen to this. In Hawaii, you can't put a coin in your ear.
Well, thank God for Hawaii.
What? This is
I can't wait to go to Hawaii. That's the first
So
thing I'm
there's
doing.
no magic tricks where you do the quarter in your ear in
not in
Hawaii.
Hawaii.
Not in
No.
Hawaii because
Are you
it's
gonna get arrested?
Wow.
it's a well, I mean, if you got to get arrested anywhere, Hawaii's probably the best place.
Oh man. So okay, this is one for you because this is from Kentucky.
Come on, tell me.
You might need to know this too.
Oh yeah,
'cause
you're
you
gonna
work
have to
with
take this
women.
back to the native
You
land
work
here.
with women. I'm gonna give you some good advice. In Kentucky, it's illegal to for a woman to marry a man 4 times.
Dude, first of all, let's think about this. Can you imagine marrying? Listen,
It's happened.
like why?
You think it's happened?
It's happened.
Think about this.
The same person?
Somebody was like 3 is our limit. Okay, like you and
They
Billy
may have
Bob
been intoxicated.
are not allowed to do this more than 3 times.
This was a dysfunctional family that happened at somebody in the family happened to be a legislator. So they're like, I'm gonna fix
That
this.
sounds like an incest law. I'm gonna be
That's
honest
right.
with you.
Yeah, I agree.
That sounds like an incest law.
Okay, y'all ready? Y'all ready to hear something about Louisiana?
Can't wait.
It's illegal to send someone a surprise pizza.
I'm doing it tomorrow. I'm gonna literally pick an address and DoorDash a surprise pizza to some random individual in Louisiana. That's happening. Okay?
Oh my
That is
goodness.
happening.
To me.
I swear that's happening.
Oh man, surprise flowers, bring it. Candy, but
Oh, yeah.
don't surprise.
Don't
the
surprise
pizza.
me with a pizza, an
pizza.
extra large with
Most
double
people would
cheese.
be
Are you
so
kidding me?
excited to have a
Louisiana?
pizza.
Oh, I'm sending it. That's happening. Somebody's getting a fresh pizza tomorrow.
Okay, listen to this one. In Missouri, it's illegal to wrestle a bear.
Thank God.
Who's out? You know, like gonna
I mean,
parole that?
me, for
Is
sure.
It bear with bear? Or
Here's the
is
thing.
It like,
I would wrestle a bear just to see if I could bring it home.
Now, I could see that in North Carolina.
I would wrestle a bear
the Great
just to
Smoky
see
Mountains.
if I could
but
bring it home.
Missouri?
well, it's illegal in Missouri to wrestle with the bear. Nebraska, you can't get married with a venereal disease. They won't give you a license.
Wait a minute.
They won't grant you a license if you got a VD. If you test positive for STDs, you cannot get married in Nebraska. Isn't that awesome?
You know what? I support that law. Let's spread that one around the
I
country.
think that
That should
needs to
be-
a nationwide.
That needs to be across the board. Who I need to vote for this?
That's pretty good, isn't it?
That's a good one.
Oh my goodness.
Oh man. So there you go. You just learn a lot. This is an educational program.
It's a family
know,
program.
When we upload our YouTubes, they want us to say if we're for children, and I just proudly say no.
Yeah.
No, we are not for
We
children.
are definitely for adults, for sure.
But it is educational. But adults need to be educated too.
More than children, in my opinion.
Man. So, do y'all want to know what's in the glass box? The
What
glass
do
house
you
today?
got for us today?
So, because I just like to mix it up. I'm gonna put this thing in the glass house, and then just see what you guys all have to say about it. But it's breaking the cycle of addiction. So,
It's a good one.
I feel like that because Joanna here deals with women and these cycles, like a lot of times it's a generational cycle, even, don't you think?
Yeah,
And
sure.
how do you break out of it? Because I have one thing that I want to cover at some point is how jail fits into this. We talked about you going and getting girls out of jail and them coming into your program, but I have a real problem understanding why we have why the jails are set up like they are, and how it's such a trap, and that in of itself is a cycle that men and women get caught up in this cycle. So what comes to mind when I say that?
First of all, I personally believe, and that's why I believe that's why Grace and Mercy was formed, was that the drugs, the alcohol, the sex, the men, the food, whatever the addiction may be, is just a symptom of the hurt.
Okay.
So what Grace and Mercy does is that we go to the root of the problem. We go to the root where the hurt is. And I believe and I've experienced that he is the only one that can sever that root. And so when he does that,
He is in God.
He is in, yes, God, Jesus, Holy Ghost. When he does that, that's when the healing begins. And so then we start looking at the heritage, the culture, the everything that maybe triggers or whatever. But first of all, we just deal with whatever kind of comes to the surface. You don't want to go somewhere that's really deep for a person, for a woman. I can just speak with, in reference to women, but we don't want to go so deep where they don't want to talk about it because, they're not ready.
Right.
So what we're
So
going
it's kind of layers.
it is.
right?
It's layer upon layer. It's like an onion, and you just peel it, and it smells, and it stinks, and it hurts, and your tears will
Painful,
come. Yeah, the pain comes out, and one layer comes off. You got to heal from that.
Yeah.
That bears out flesh, and that flesh is bleeding. You've got to clean it up.
Wound.
It's an open wound. You've got to heal it. And then you deal with the next layer.
Right.
So it takes time and it takes patience. It takes love. You know, love is such a small but big word for so many people. And with my women, you know, they have looked for love in all the wrong places.
Right.
You know, maybe maybe it was molestation, maybe it was incest, maybe it was rape, maybe it was so many different things. And, you know, you can't just come out and say that,
Right.
you know, because, you know, you look at what has happened and it may be generational, like you said. So there again, can you turn that person back to the family? Possibly not.
Right.
So you've got to create this new family, this new environment, you know, for them to thrive, for them to
Well, you have to teach a different way to live.
Absolutely.
So remind me the name of the place I went to in Ohio.
City on the Hill. No,
It
it's
was Hope.
yes.
Hope something. What in the world was it?
Well, you went to down in Columbia. That was
Place of Hope, but the other one
the
was
other one was shoot.
Hope and Heroin or nope,
No,
something.
City on a Hill was the church.
It was a church.
Anyway,
Yeah.
the story is that's it. I haven't experienced obviously the female side of what you're experiencing and talking about, but like they had the same mentality, and I watched alcoholics and heroin addicts that have been going in and out of rehabs and all of these facilities for years, and they would get to this place, and this place they weren't putting them through programs, they weren't putting them through these like classes and making them do all these like steps and everything. They were showing them the love of God. That's all. That's it. Like
Yes.
that's all they did is they just said, "Hey, look, what's happening is you're void of love, and you're seeking everywhere for it." And that's what brought me back is because I recognized like, man, like that's all I need is like I need to recognize the placement of what love means to me in my life again, you know? And it's so easy to forget that because when you are constantly dealing with hurt
Yeah.
and you're dealing with pain, love doesn't even have a place anymore because it almost hurts more to love when you don't have it, you know? And so like, it's this constant battle between knowing what's right, knowing what you want, knowing what you need, and then your body telling you a whole different thing.
That's right.
It's the craziest scenario because like in your head, you really know better. Like you really know better. You know that you shouldn't pick that up. You know you shouldn't do what you're about to do. You absolutely know better. But your body is rejecting the reality.
Right.
And that's the sickness. And it's a void of love.
Right.
And that's a void of God. It's a void of
The
peace.
physical. Now,
Right.
you see, there's so many different parts of addiction. There is the physical, there's a psychological, there's a physiological, you know, portion of addiction, knowing how long the person has been using and, you know, self-medicating, whatever the case may be. And so once you've got one aspect, now you have to, and I'm just talking of one person, now we have to deal with the physical addiction that the body is now craving what it has had for the last 8 years.
Yeah.
So how are you going to deal with that? So, you know, medication does come into play. You have got to, because the chemical imbalance has changed. Your whole chemical imbalance has changed in your body. So now we have to try and find some medium, some balance so that they can think clearly, they can think rationally. They don't have so much coming at them and they can breathe.
One thing that I think that as faith-based people that we are, I would say that sometimes the church can do a poor job with dealing with people that are needing these extra things that with the lack of understanding, they just want to, you know, put people in a box that they just need some prayer, and they need more than just some prayer. They need retraining of life skills, and they need space to be able to mess up and still love them, and like there's a lot of, like you said, layers for the person, but it's also painful and time consuming for the people who are
That are
trying to
caring
walk
for that
that
person.
out.
Yeah, dude.
And if they're not trained to do it, like you guys have a staff that is, you've seen it all, and when you see a certain person act in a certain way, you know to look in their room. Something is different. Something is off, and you look for those little things because you're so in tune. But people who are just trying to do it in a sugarcoating way, no harm, no shade trying to throw on that, because you're not equipped. Not every little pastor is equipped to deal with an addict in his church, but these programs are vital, like what you have, and you oversee. You not only have your own successful program, but you oversee as a consultant for others, correct?
Correct. Yeah.
So what do you do? Like,
anyone that wants to start a program, when we started Grace and Mercy, I really thought, okay, I've been with my ex-husband. We went to, so many different recovery places and experienced all that. And I really believed that I knew what I had to do until the Lord said to me, I don't want any of that. I said, well, what do you want? And he made it really clear that I don't want any of that. I'm going to show you what I want. So we kind of started from the ground up, and the program that we have, it was so hard to find what was working in other places and what wasn't. No one would share any information. And
Wow.
I really, I had so many friends that were helping me get information like rules, why, reasons, all of these different things. And then we kind of put it all together on a huge table and pieced it all together until it made sense to us. So, there was totally a lot of things to do to put it all together. But, we have the psychoeducational classes, the classes like rational behavior therapy, sex addiction, as well as, the theology of the classes, and what the Lord says in reference to the Bible and marrying it together and making it work. But you have to have these other classes. Like tomorrow we have chemical dependency, and how you have now become chemically dependent. Your body has become chemically dependent on this drug. So, we have a lot of these psychoeducational classes, the conflict resolution, so many different ones.
you have doctors that
Yes.
that come in. Do you have to?
Social workers, psychologists, that actually give of their time. They volunteer because they really feel, that they can make a difference, and they're not governed by any state regulation or rules stating that they can't say what they want to
So
say.
you're a faith-based program.
Absolutely.
And you don't have to answer to state dollars and that type of thing.
So we don't, yes. And that's the beauty, I believe, of Grace and Mercy. And also, we are who we are. We take women back when they go out and they screw up, they fall, we'll go out there and pick them up. I'll go to the crack house and pick them up and bring them back in, and so they can get themselves clean again and get into a safe bed, one that they can just chill and know that they are not going to be raped tonight or something like that. It's a very
People don't realize how hard it is.
yeah.
Honestly, like it's hard to, it's when you are dealing with an addiction like that, it's like people really don't understand the type of stronghold it has on you, because you are sitting there knowing better and can't do better. And imagine that, like, imagine, I have to put my hand in this flame. I have to put my hand in the flame. I know I'm going to burn, but I have to. Imagine your mindset. That's what addiction's like.
That's right.
You stick your hand in a fire every single time, and you get hurt every single time, and you keep going back for more. That's a twisted like mindset, and it's something that you have to like break down and figure out. Like you said, you got to figure out the core and why you're doing this.
Absolutely.
Because
just like domestic violence, how many times does it take for a woman not to go back to her perpetrator?
Right.
How many times will it take? I'm sorry. How many I'm sorries did that woman hear? Well, she heard a lot. And so, you've got to have the grace to receive her back. Come on, this maybe it will be this time.
Right.
Maybe it will be this time. So
Now, do they know they can call you? Are you the one that's going to come get them, or do you have other volunteers that come
they know.
to you? Yeah,
They know to
and
call
you've
me.
and you've created that trust, I
Yes.
guess,
Yeah,
with them to where they
no
know.
other way that would work. I
They
promise
know.
you that. Yeah, I promise
They
you.
know though, even if
Yeah.
I mess up,
Yeah.
Because
she's gonna
coming
come
from
get
an
me.
addict, I've had people that I've trusted and I still wouldn't call.
Yeah.
Like you got to really have a real relationship with somebody to be on the floor when somebody knows that they've already warned you about the floor,
right?
You know, but like they know I can still call you and you're gonna pick me off of this floor,
Right.
you know.
I mean, that trust begins in jail.
Yeah.
When, and the word says it, when I was in jail, did you come and visit me?
Yeah.
So, even I can come once a month. Do you think they're going to trust me? No. I've been going to jails and prisons now for about 17 years, and they see me, and they know me. They know I'm coming back.
Right.
I'm not, even when they leave. I had a funny incident at Walmart one time, and one of the girls got out, which is fantastic. And she came and jumped on my back and headlocked me, put me in a headlock. And I'm not a sturdy, so I went down to the ground. Well, the people thought that she was robbing
Attacking
me.
you. Yeah. Oh.
And then she said, Miss Joanna. And I was going, it's okay, everyone. Can someone help me up? And so, she was just so happy to see me.
Right.
And I said, you cannot do that in public.
You're going to pass a law in Kentucky. You can't jump someone from behind in a Walmart.
You can't give anybody a backward
if you've
hug.
just come out of jail.
Yeah.
Specifically, we need some details here.
But yeah, it is, so things, you have to, build up that trust. And then the message that you give in jail is not pointing your finger at them.
Right.
Because look how many fingers are pointing back at me. I want to give them hope.
Yeah.
It's pointing them in a direction. not
Pointing them into a direction
purpose.
where he's going to take them and lead them and guide them. And so, am I hard with them? I am, because I want them to get it, but I'm giving them the real meat of his love.
Yeah.
Because that's the only thing. If they can just grab a hold of that,
You can't fake that either.
Yeah.
And that's one thing that like anybody that's ever really poured in, like you might, I mean, in terms of like a lot of you, even in terms of like dealing with my own struggles, like just the short conversations we've had, you can't fake being genuine. And like, I don't know if anybody on the planet is better at sniffing out a fake human being than an addict.
Right.
that's right.
I don't know if there's a better person on the planet.
Yep.
An addict will smell out a fake person quicker than anybody on the planet. It's because they know it better than anybody.
That's right.
And so, like, if you can't be fake trying to help them because it makes it worse. It really does.
You having the history and your success story for sure. And that's not to put pressure on you or anything like that, because
We all have our struggles. I still deal with
we're all
it.
trying to go to heaven. But given your history, do you get calls from people who are still struggling and they know that you will understand? And
I mean, it's pretty consistent, honestly. I have a lot of people that and it's a tough balance for me because you don't want to take too much on in terms of carrying too much of other people's when you're an addict, carrying other people's addictions as well,
Yeah.
because you can't lose focus of your own problems.
Yeah.
You can't put the thing about addiction and getting out of it is the same selfishness that got you in it is going to be the selfishness that gets you out of it. Like you have to put yourself first, and it's twisted in a way because I know for me that was one of the hardest commitments for me to commit to getting out of it, because I'm sitting here going like, for me to focus on not being addicted to this, I now have to purposely not focus on things I want to focus on that I should be focusing on if I wasn't addicted to things. But I need to focus on this addiction so I can focus on that. And so it's about understanding your priorities. I talked about this, it's minimizing your day. It's like doing one little thing better today than you did yesterday. And if you do that every day, you're going to look back and realize you've moved forward.
Took a lot of giant steps.
Yeah.
Really.
And then you're going to find out that like you're going to hit a bump one day. And for me, what like kind of made me realize like, hey man, I'm kind of doing this is like I hit a bad day and I hadn't really felt like I was doing much. But like after that bad day, I realized like my first thought wasn't to go get a drink. It was to, ground myself in my today. It was to take receipts and accountability of what's happening, and even give myself a pat on the backs for things that that might not even be that great, but like at the end of the day, when you go days without being able to shower and being able to get out of the house, being able to eat, it's a fantastic applause when you can make yourself a cup of noodles for lunch. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
It is.
and so like, there's these little things that you just got to appreciate the small points of life so that you can understand the bigger purpose of life. And it's just, that was what it was for me anyway. I'm not any expert.
The program
in
that
addiction.
you're in was Heritage House.
Heritage House.
Heritage House.
I wanted to give them a big shout out because
Yes.
I wasn't there for the full program, but I was there for.
St. Louis.
No, it was in Ohio.
Cincinnati.
It was in Cincinnati, Ohio. Heritage House. Yeah, dude. If anybody out in Cincinnati that is dealing with any addiction or anything, it's a phenomenal place to go, and they will do nothing but love you right into your like right state of mind.
Yeah.
Cool.
But that was that's what happened for me. And for me, I was in a place where when I got there, I was humbled because I was an alcoholic and I was around mostly heroin addicts. And not that any addiction is better or less than another, but I was watching these men that were really, they were really dealing with some things. I thought I was dealing with some things. I was homeless. I didn't have anything. I didn't have a relation with my daughter. I was recently divorced. Like I didn't have anything for me, but these guys were really dealing with some things, and I felt so selfish. It was like a wake up call. Like, dude, all you got to do is just decide, because you don't have to be here. Like some of these guys have to be here. They have to. They have no other choice. You're essentially choosing to be here, and it's just that wake up call. It just takes that wake up call, and I don't know what it means for each individual to get there.
Yeah.
But for me, I just had to put my face on the altar, and that's what I did for 2 weeks, and I just cried, and I let out every piece of pain I had, and like I woke up and was just ready to take back on the world, and I was willing to do anything to get back from there. But Heritage House, yes, shout out to Heritage House.
And from that day forward, as I have seen you kind of with your good days, bad days, you've never had a bad day so bad.
No.
Like your highs are higher and your lows are higher.
Yeah. That was
know?
that was one thing you
And
told me.
so it's
That was
like,
that was one of the first things I remember you telling me. I had a bad day. Like soon after, she goes, one thing, your lows are getting higher.
Yeah.
And I was like, you know what? You're right. My lows are getting higher.
Yeah.
So
Lows
it
are
was
getting higher.
it was good, man. It's just a process.
Yeah. So sometimes, I think that you've got to look back on some girls who have been through your program and say you have some real success stories. And I know you're so proud of these women, because we all still struggle. Like
Sure.
everybody struggles in life. I think the big lie we talk about social media being a poison pill, because you can open up your phone and it looks like everybody's having, the
Great life,
their great life, their highlight reel is on display in your face, and you feel like, I don't even think I can get out of bed today. And so everybody has that time, me included. Like, there's just so many things that I want to say on this program that give people permission just to be honest and talk about the real things. But when you have women go through your program and then they get their families back, because I know you have family day on Sunday, and there are things that they get to baby step back into their the life they want again, and retrain them, because a lot of them had bad upbringing. They're raising their child as they were raised, and so you've got to show them another dynamic and
Sure.
show them a different way. And then to look back, I mean, how many success stories do you get to? By the way, everybody, we're going to connect you through our website to Grace and Mercy and let you give to this program. We want you to support them. We want you, if you live in the Hopkinsville area, they have a huge, amazing thrift store, and there's just a lot of ways that you can connect. If you have property that you want to donate to them, or they have a farm, they have some big dreams, and their success rate is amazing. So we want to connect you to all these stories. But do you want to shout out to anybody? And we'll have all the girls on, a bunch of them in the future. But who comes to mind, like, that would be such a, and are they on staff? Because sometimes you bring people back.
Sure.
Right?
When we take the ladies and they come and work for us, we know that there would be some difficulty in finding a job out there.
Yeah.
Because of their record or anything like that. And we give them a try, we give them some history and everything, and they come on aboard. And of course there's staff training, but for our girls, and we're asked this all the time, and we ask ourselves as well, what is it, what can we do better? How can we learn when someone leaves? What happened? What went wrong? Did anything go wrong? No, nothing went wrong. But what can we do better? So, when we look at our successes, I look at one at a time, because that's all, because, and I say that this way because when one leaves,
You got another one right behind it.
yeah, I've got another one right behind it. But when one leaves, I go, wow. I have to come into my office and close the door and do my and have my time with the Lord, because that's one that's gone back out.
Yeah.
So, with the girls that have their success stories, that have married, that have now had children, that are doing family life, they'll always call me when something is going wrong. If someone gets in an accident, and how am I going to make the rent this month, and different things like that. Just on the way up here, I got a phone call from one of mine, and she's pregnant.
Okay.
So I said, okay, we'll come alongside of you. We're going to help you. Well, it was a one-night stand, Miss Joanna, and I'm pregnant, and I said, you're going to be okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We've got you. She said, I don't believe, and he's told me to take care of it, Miss Joanna, but I don't want to. And I said, no, you don't have to. And we'll help you. We'll be with you. We'll get you connected to Alpha Alternative in Hopkinsville, and, you'll go to some training classes, and you'll, get mommy bucks or something,
Yeah.
to purchase items, and everything will be okay.
Yeah.
So, it just happens all the time. We've got, Nikki Monroe, who is now an RN. She lost her RN license and had to go through Grace and Mercy for her criminal charges and whatever, and then had to go through the board, the RN board, and do everything that they requested.
Yeah.
And that was like being tested once a week, for a whole year. That's a lot.
Yeah.
And also with us as well. But now I've just been told that she got a job and she is over all the nurses in the hospital.
Wow.
That's just amazing, and does she call me with things that may be going on? She does. Nikki, I won't blast you right now, but, we all make these, kind of decisions that are not as healthy as we should have.
Yeah.
And all we need is to verbalize it, get it out, let it lose its power over me,
Right.
give me some other options. Let me take that.
One thing that I am reminded of, several years ago, I was in a business training and the speaker had a big whiteboard and they drew a circle that was the earth and a circle that was the moon. And they said that when the astronauts, when the astronauts made their first landing on the moon and all the data was analyzed, even though we can see the moon, we can calculate the movement, we can calculate speed, we can calculate all these things, and these astronauts did all of that, and the brightest minds in the world. But in analyzing the data afterwards, the trainer just did a zigzag all the way from Earth to the moon, and they said that's what the data looked like. And the success of getting to the goal, even though they could see it, they knew that it was possible, they knew how to calculate all the movements. The fact that they mastered correction and quick corrections. And so that's where I think sometimes we get stuck in life because we kind of double down on a bad decision, and then because of pride or because of just stubbornness or lack of information, we just can't deal with reality, the lack of emotional intelligence. There's a lot of things that play into why we would block ourselves from correcting. But when you are in a program that says, I hold myself accountable to you, I hold myself accountable to you, I hold myself, and you have people that you trust, it's constant correction. It's not about who can be the straight and narrow and be the most perfect in their life, but who can actually master the corrections and how quickly you can do that, because we're going to overcorrect and then we're going to overcorrect. But eventually, let's get to our goal. And I just love that. Would you agree that it's not about living a life of perfection, but it's mastering the correction?
Yes, absolutely. Not everyone gets every class that we teach.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so, everyone moves at their own pace. Mm-hmm. We don't, sure, there are 6 phases to grace and mercy, but, people are at their own pace. And sometimes if they kind of slip up or anything, we kind of just hold them back. And they don't realize it's for their own good at the time, but going down the line, they do.
It's kind of like karate. You're not ready yet. You have to stay a brown belt a little bit longer. We can't call you a black belt yet. Wow. But eventually they do. I know my daughter, she didn't have some of the typical problems coming in that some of your women did. She didn't have, I won't go into all what she did have, but there were just a lot of life skills that you guys were able to help her and go, oh man, I got to get it together. And where, it was bigger than mom. It was bigger than her youth pastor or her, grandma, or there was a lot of support system that even she had. But to be able to say, okay, I'm going to spend some time with some women who just focus on these classes. I mean, it was really hard for her. She didn't get some of why she had to sit through addiction classes when it wasn't her deal. But eventually things click in, and I believe that's where the Holy Spirit comes in. And
I actually have a woman in in right now in Grace and Mercy that reminds me a lot of her.
Okay.
And she doesn't. I have no addictions.
Yeah.
And the mannerisms and everything are, I've seen before. And everyone's asking,
Everybody's
Miss
got an
Joanna,
addiction for the record.
why is she here? And I said, that's really none of your business why she's here. What we have to do is help her through whatever she's thinking in her head.
Yeah.
And everyone may be sitting watching a movie and she'll want to lay on her back on the floor, which is fine.
Yeah.
Who's she hurting?
Yeah.
If you can get up, I can't do that. I need someone to lift me up. But the different classes that we have address the different things, and sometimes something may ping upstairs or even in her heart.
Yeah.
And then she'll recognize, okay, I've experienced that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've experienced being pushed. I've experienced being oppressed. I've experienced being spoken to like I wasn't even there, or abandoned or left out, without anyone coming to me. So there are so many different aspects to what someone experiences that we have to help them with, and we take women from incarceration, we take women from homelessness, and we take women in crisis. And that's when, I met Rachel, and I've met this young woman that's in our program now, and she's in crisis.
Yeah.
So we've got to meet them where they are, and then we've got to help them through.
Wow. I hope you have really enjoyed today as much as we have. Thank you for joining us. Connect with Joanna Mack, with Grace and Mercy, her staff. If you want to, we'll link all of these programs.
Heritage House, all
Heritage
of them.
House,
Yeah.
and,
Place of Hope, all the
Place
places.
of Hope. Look for something in your area, but we love you so much. Don't give up on yourself. Get it together, y'all. We're here to help.